Today, we're gonna listen to a few popular Vocaloid songs. However, I can assure you that it'll make you think about how terrifying some producers can be. It's officially spooky season, so let's dive down the deep end of the pool with Oka-san, Machigireta P. Commonly seen on the lists of the most darkest Vocaloid songs, the song's title literally translates as Mother, which is the central theme of the story. It follows a girl singing about how she has to run away from her abusive mother when she comes into her room, because she will, and I quote, twist and squeak her neck. Something that really stands out to me is the way that this song feels like found footage. The distortion of Miku's voice, the song sounding intense yet off-key, and the ending where Miku's voice seems to fade out, like she's about to die. I should point out that there's a reversed version of the song that seemingly has creepier and more blunt lyrics. I don't know, man. How do people figure this stuff out? But whatever. It makes it feel like the girl is trying to send a message to her friend in hopes that she can escape from her abusive home. But unfortunately, by how the song ends, it might have been too little, too late. Cutter, Tonbo. As the title grimly suggests, the song is about self-harm. It follows Gumi singing about her views on the world, its hardships, and how her way of coping is to cut her wrist. Toward the last 3 verses of the song, it honestly reads like a suicide note, with how she's dedicating the song to you and explaining her reasoning for cutting her body. However, the reason I think the song is so unique is how it captures why people want to do this stuff in the first place. With lyrics like, "The world which whispers goodbye to you has already taken far too much, but this time sleep with multiplying pains. Surely you're only sad for now." It kinda helps me understand the motives behind risk-cutting, I think. I remember meeting a friend for the first time and seeing her scars on her arm, and it genuinely hurt to see when people do that. It's usually because they're trying to cry for help or relieve their pain. On a Japanese upload of the song, you'll see dozens of comments talking about their stories of self-harm, and I highly recommend reading them as it'll help you understand their motives and how we can potentially help our friends find hope in the world. Breaking things into pieces. Kikuo. The song follows the story of a child who enjoys breaking things. It seems innocent enough. Who hasn't destroyed a Lego building when you were a kid? However, the parents were concerned due to what the child was breaking, like teacups, phones, and clocks. The child could understand how their parents felt, but the high of destruction was just so addicting. So, they kept breaking things, continuing on the sentimental objects like paintings and letters, and when that wasn't enough, they moved on to breaking life forms. In the song's music video, you would see a whole lot of school-age girls in uniforms all crumble apart. That part in specific made people theorize that the song is about the early stages in the mind of a future serial killer. They do show a bit of remorse at the end, but what's been done has been done, and you can't really fix what's been broken. For me, I like to imagine this as a vent song. The visuals are something that you would draw when you were a kid, and for some kids, this was their way of expressing their true feelings. Maybe the kid in the video is going through a midlife crisis at 8 years old and tries breaking things to help cope with their situation. Maybe it's just for the story, or maybe a reflection of the artist himself. It's known that Kikuo had it rough as a kid, where he experienced isolation and bullying. It's possible that bits and pieces of the song can trace back to Kikuo's childhood, or maybe I'm going schizo mode. Kikuo isn't evil, right? Goodbye, Circus P. Goodbye is a song that follows Miku singing a ballad about how, despite accomplishing a lot in her life, doesn't feel happy, and believes that the only way out is for her to pass away, to stop breathing and hope that she'll be forgotten with time. The reason for her mindset? When she was young, she was taught that the world did not revolve around her, alongside how she believes that everything that we do in life is ultimately for nothing. And because of that, she fell into a deep depression. She then decides to jump off a tower, and in the end, she's in a hospital bed. It's really bleak, but everything is drawn like a dreamlike sketch, so just hear me out for a second. I think the ending verse is a bit optimistic. She still wants to die, but she doesn't have the courage to do so, and in my headcanon, I believe that someone came in after she sung the song to cheer her up a bit. Circus originally wrote the song from his perspective, but ultimately decided to rewrite it from Miku's point of view instead. Even with that change, it's still a depressing listen, as Miku's feelings are shared with so many people around the world. Just replace her feelings about fame with anything that you can think of. A good way to come out of your depression hole is to talk to someone about your feelings. It isn't foolproof, but since the song is 11 years old, and Miku is still here and happier than ever, it's always a good start. Coin Locker Baby, Maruchu. Frankly, anything made by Maruchu could fill the list, since a lot of his songs are painted in shades of depression and isolation, and one example comes with Coin Locker Baby. It follows the story about a mother debating and eventually abandoning her baby in a Japanese coin locker, and the fallout of her emotions that later come from this. The first half of the song is fast-paced and energetic. It talks about the mother's life as a busy Japanese worker, and how she has to abandon her baby in fear of revealing her secret pregnancy to the world. However, the second half of the song is slower, and it's in the style of EDM techno. The lyrics shift to the mother doubting herself on if it was the right choice to abandon her baby, with her emotions going all over the place. Eventually, she decides to go back to retrieve her baby, but it was too late. When the song ends, it's later implied that she tries to have another child to not repeat the same mistake that she made with her coin locker baby. But as a form of karmic revenge, she ends up giving birth to a stillborn. Coin locker babies were a real phenomenon that occurred in Japan during the 80s and 90s. Just like in the song, the reasons for this happening can range from the fear of shame from an unwanted pregnancy to a lack of support services that can make a woman abandon their baby in a locker to pass away. Thankfully, stuff like this doesn't really happen anymore, but it remains as a dark scar in Japanese society. Vomiting, Daijoubu pee. Mom, I'm not feeling daijoubu. I'm only including this one due to how surreal everything is. It follows Miku singing about various ideas and how they are repulsive. So, she encourages us to vomit in order to feel repulsed, I think. That's the most I got out of it, because the visuals feel like something that you would watch on Adult Swim at 3 AM while drunk. In fact, the original upload was deleted on Nico Nico Doga due to its graphic content. The original version still exists on the Internet Archive, but it has adult content in it. But I doubt you're missing out on much, when the censored version has enough colors to cause a seizure. I don't think the world is ready for Daijoubu P's ideas. Bacterial contamination, Dino. I can't show this one because YouTube deleted my video the last time I showed it, so I do apologize if the presentation is a bit awkward. The most common interpretation of the song is that it's about Miku being the recipient of bullying. It led Miku's self-esteem to fall into the toilet. So, in order to feel better, she viciously bullies another person. She feels a little better, but the euphoria does not last long, leading to the pain of isolation appearing once again. Alright Miku, we get it. You got a boo-boo. You got a boo-boo la boo-boo.
Well, actually, that character is not Hatsune Miku.
Oh, my bad. This song is particularly infamous because of the character that stars in it. Kaone Ka is one of Dino's OCs that cosplays as Hatsune Miku in the song. She's some robot, insect, skeleton hybrid looking thing that is known to freak people out. If you were to ask me, I think her unusual design helps with the song's message. You know the bacteria in the song? It represents the effects of bullying. According to a study from the National Library of Medicine, about 97% of bullies were bullied themselves. It's like a sickness that spreads and contaminates you, turning you into that. I like to believe that in that universe, Miku looked like your average girl, but the constant bullying infected her with the bacteria that now makes her look like Kao Nika. Another theory that people subscribe to is that Miku was infected with a non-contagious disease, but everyone chooses to stay away from her instead of helping, leading her to... I think the bullying theory makes a lot more sense, because it's something that can seriously mess you up on the inside and turn you into a bully yourself to continue the cycle of pain. The strongest way to combat hate is with kindness. As corny as that sounds, you'd expect Kao Nika to be someone who is pitied, but no. There's a small cult following showing love and admiration for the skeleton creature. Even though you may be hated in one family, you'll be loved and accepted in another. You just have to search a bit and remember that bullies are infected with a painful disease and just want to receive healing too. If you want to share some scary songs for the Halloween season, put them in the comments below, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go jam out to my favorite song.